Hi, I'm Danielle. Welcome to my perfume journal. It's time for the August installment of my series called Perfume Collecting for Regular People, where I kind of pull back the curtain on how I enjoy this passion, hobby, interest, whatever you'd like to call it, within my own budget. So in this series, I talk about the ins and outs of my perfume collection each month, including my spending down to the penny, and I record all of this in my perfume journal. So up until this month, I've been making a separate video about my most worn perfumes for the month, but often they are the same perfumes I've added to my collection that month because you know how it is. When you get a new perfume, you want to wear it often to get to know it, and also because you're excited to have it. So I'm going to integrate my most worn perfumes for the month into this series. So last month in July, I went on vacation and I went a little over budget. So I said I was going to try to be a more mindful shopper and consumer and stay within or even under budget for August and September. But spoiler alert, I did not do that. Like, I big time did not do that. I am the complete opposite of a regular person this month, and you will see why. So I planned on purchasing 3 perfumes this month. That's it. That would have kept me well within my budget if I stopped there, which I didn't. So let's start with those 3. So first we have Pure Poison from Dior. This perfume has been on my wish list for some time, and I found it at a fantastic price unboxed, so I grabbed it. So this is the current formulation of Pure Poison. I've heard tons of people talk about the original version, the one that comes with the white cap and the slightly more like milky iridescent bottle, but I have never had the good fortune of smelling that one to compare. And so the current version of Pure Poison smells absolutely beautiful to me. So Pure Poison is for the lovers of clean, white floral scents. It has that expensive body lotion or body cream kind of feel to it, like the kind of bespoke bath products you'd find at like a really high-end luxury hotel. It's a very sophisticated, soapy-ish white floral, but it's not like harsh or sharp in any way. It's soft and fuzzy, as if the perfume took the white florals and put a filter on them. It feels timeless, it feels seasonless, it feels occasionless, which really means you can wear this whenever, wherever. It will never, ever, ever go out of style, I think. From the bright, citrusy opening to the soft woodiness in the dry down, to me, there is everything to love about this white floral beauty. This was also one of my most worn perfumes of August. It was my second most worn, to be exact. And I am so happy I finally crossed this one off the wish list. I bought this little 30 ml of Born Lovely from Sarah Jessica Parker. Cass always talks about this one on her channel, Skin Scents for Fusspots. And as a fellow fan of the SJP perfumes, I decided to pick up this flanker. And I can always tell when a brand is for me because it can get me loving on a note that I normally don't gravitate toward. And in this case, it's the peony. I do struggle with peony a little bit in perfumes in a similar way that I struggle with lily. It can give me a little bit of a headache, but in this perfume, it does not do that at all. This is a perfume that I would categorize as a fruity floral with the black currant, the lovely mandarin opening, and then the pink and white florals. It is the sweetest perfume in the lovely line that I've tried so far. It has some caramel in the base. And that's another note I typically don't gravitate toward, but it's not overly sweet here. I often describe perfumes like this as fleur-mons. And if I made a scale of 1 to 10 on that type of perfume, with 1 being like more floral and 10 being more gourmand, I'd put this one around a 4.5. This is more floral than gourmand, but the sweetness and the dry down definitely adds like a deliciousness to this perfume. I wore this one to bed a bunch of times this month, and it did end up on my most worn list in 3rd place. And my most worn perfume this month was one that I purchased at the same time as Lovely You and Pure Poison, and it was the 2nd cheapest perfume I bought in August. It cost $12.59 for this 30 ml bottle. This is a celebrity perfume. It's Solstice Bloom from Jennifer Aniston. I don't think I would have picked this one up on my own. I got this on the recommendation of my wonderful friend Victoria, who is Scent Memos on Instagram. She was actually my very first perfume community friend ever when I started my Instagram page 3 years ago, and she is just the most wonderful, lovely person. And she is also an affordable gem hunter like me, and she said, Danielle, do not sleep on this one. It gets no attention in the celebrity perfume world, but it's really, really good. So I gave it a shot and she was right. This is really good. It is a very simple perfume to describe. It has a whole bunch of notes, but it smells like one thing and one thing only to me. It smells exactly like warm sand. That's it. That's the story of this perfume. It's warm sand. And warm sand, I learned this month, smells wonderful at bedtime. And you know what I love? I love perfumes like these that are super inexpensive. And I really do not mind at all that they don't last because I can spray myself down, including the bed linens of my side of the bed. I can get into my like little perfumed cocoon. And by the time I am fading off into sleep, so is the perfume. So yeah, Solstice Bloom, it will give you the slumbery scent of warm sand for about 12 bucks. So then I added this bottle of Stash Privé to my collection, thanks to the kindness of a wonderful subscriber here. She reached out to me to say, hey, I don't think I'm going to be wearing this. Would you like it? And so I gratefully accepted, and then we had a little sample swap as well. So thank you so much for your generosity in sharing Stash Privé with me, knowing how much I dig the SJP line. And indeed, I do love this one. I had sampled this one before when I met up with Allie over the summer for our little perfume sniffari get together, and I really enjoyed it. So the minute I got this bottle, I put on like 32 sprays of it. This perfume is like instant happiness. To me, this smells like Chanel Chance Otandra and Stash Unspoken had a baby. It has quince and grapefruit and a woody, musky base. And so all of that feels like the genetic code of Otandra and Unspoken transferred to their little baby named Privé. This is a very easy reach. It's a bright, musky floral. And the thing about perfumes like this is a 30 ml bottle is totally perfect. These are the perfumes I want to wear 30 ml of and then move on to find a new bright musky floral to enjoy. To me, it's like there are some movies that you want to watch over and over and over again. Like every time they're on, you're going to sit down and you're going to watch them all the way through. And then there are other movies that you watch once and you're good. And I think perfumes can be like that too. Some perfumes you will repurchase again and again and again. Like that will be the original stash for me. And other perfumes are going to be like, watch it once and remember it fondly, which is Stash Privé and Stash Unspoken. Both of them are wonderful in their own right, but the original Stash, that's my movie that I'll watch over and over and over again. So now is the point where things went a little sideways with my budget this month, or I should probably say a lot sideways. So I have had a saved search going for Narciso Rouge for some time. It's one of the discontinued cubes in this line, and I am having an obsession with cosmetic and lipsticky perfumes at the moment. And so I was really hoping that this one would pop up secondhand at a good price, and it did, so I bought it. Oops. But I am really, really happy that I purchased this perfume. It was a blind buy, but I knew that I would love it. I have smelled a bunch of perfumes in this line before, and I love them all. I have Poudre in my collection, and you can still find the EDT of this scent on discount sites, but I really wanted the EDP. This is rose and iris and that signature intoxicating Narciso musk on a soft woody base. It's gorgeous. I love the fluffiness of that Narciso musk. To me, their musk smells like a sweaty marshmallow. It's so good. I mean, if you like sweaty marshmallows. And then with the cosmetic notes of the rose and the iris, it is fabulous. The only bummer with this purchase is that the atomizer leaks like crazy. I sprayed it and the bottom of the atomizer, like hold on, let me show you. So where the bottom of the atomizer meets the bottle, it was literally dripping wet with perfume. So if there's anybody out there who has any suggestions on how to get the atomizer off of a bottle like this without spilling it everywhere so I can actually transfer the perfume into another vessel, I would love any tips you might have about how to do this. I've never done it before because I don't want to waste another drop of this perfume. I haven't sprayed it since because I know it's going to leak all over the place. And I really want to figure out how to get the atomizer off so that I can put this into another bottle. So anybody who has any tips on how to do that, I am all ears. Okay, so then I purchased this bottle of Nebras from Rehab. This is the same company that makes Choco Musk. That's an ultra cheapy perfume that went super viral in the perfume community several years ago. So I picked this up because this is a perfume that I always see pop up as one of those smells like another perfume on Parfumo. And this one shows up as a smells like for Vivienne Westwood's Boudoir. And that is one of my unicorn discontinued perfumes. Nebras was $10 on Amazon, so I was like, why not? Well, now that I have this, I can tell you exactly why not. So I can sort of see why someone might liken this to Boudoir. In its style, it's an oudy floral, and Boudoir is a very, very musky, dirty floral. But to me, that's where the similarities begin and end. So on my channel, I really try not to be overly negative about a perfume and just talk about perfumes from my own perspective because perfume is totally subjective and I am not here to yuck on someone else's yum, as they say. But I have to be honest, I'm having a really hard time finding anything I can say about this perfume that would be encouraging or like, if you like this, you might enjoy Nebras, because I was actually really, really turned off by this perfume. This is my very first catch and release of the entire year. I wore this one day, and by the end of the day, it went immediately to the declutter shelf. I didn't scrub it off because I was like, maybe it's going to get a little bit better on my skin, but it just really did not work for me. And so I'm going to have to hold out for a unicorn boudoir to make its appearance in my life, hopefully one day. Okay, so here comes my justification for my final purchase of the month. I finally decluttered some things, one of which was a very expensive bottle of perfume. And so I made a massive splurge and I bought myself the 100th anniversary Shalimar flanker called Shalimar L'Essence. Okay, so let me tell you, for years and years, and when I say years and years, I literally mean like decades, I have never, ever actually purchased a bottle of any Shalimar perfume. I have only ever had samples. I have smelled a bazillion Shalimars over the years. I have adored them all for different reasons. And therefore, that has paralyzed me into being able to decide which one I should buy. And so I have purchased zero. I have been super close to purchasing a partial of my very favorite Shalimar, Shalimar L'Essence, which smells like a pretty pink flounce of a Shalimar. But then my inner voice goes, no, you don't need that right now. And then I decided I was going to buy the Eau de Cologne, which I love. It's been discontinued, but it's still pretty easy to find, like secondhand. And I kept stalling on that one as well. Same thing with the Millésime Jasmine. But then this 100th anniversary L'Essence came along. I saw it on Parfumo as a new release, and I thought, okay, how can I not buy the 100th anniversary version of Shalimar? And since I sold that really expensive bottle of perfume that I never ever wore, I went for the Shalimar. So I have seen a lot of people saying that they don't like the label on this bottle, but I love it. I love the idea of the modern Art Deco typography juxtaposed with that gorgeous, classic, original Guerlain bottle design. And I think it's beautiful. And so for the 100th anniversary of Shalimar, which came out in 1925, the perfumer of this flanker, Delphine Jelk, she has added a tincture of Madagascar vanilla to the original ethyl vanillin in the formula that Jacques Guerlain created. And L'Essence also has notes of the signature Guerlainade. So all of Guerlain's fragrances are centered around at least one of the 6 notes of the Guerlainade. It's bergamot, rose, jasmine, iris, vanilla, and tonka. And the original Shalimar contains all of them. And in this flanker, we have the bergamot, the rose, the iris, and the vanilla. And so for this perfume, they have really leaned into and amped up the vanilla. There is a ton of it. And that sort of softens up the leatheriness and the woodiness that you get in the dry down of the original. And it makes it feel even smoother and more velvety and a little bit sweeter. I think this is a really, really good version of Shalimar. Not all of the flankers of Shalimar have been well received over the years, but I think that this one is going to be. It is very, very much an homage to the original, but it has like a modern flair to it. I am loving it. I can't wait to keep getting to know it. I've only worn it once so far, and already I wish I had gotten the bigger bottle. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like this one is going anywhere anytime soon, and so if this runs out, I will very gladly spend my hard-earned money to upgrade to the larger size. And I finally have my Shalimar. All right, time to get down to it. What did I actually spend this month? So if you're new to this series, my monthly fun money budget, which is usually reserved for perfumes, is $100 to $150. And I always acknowledge what a significant privilege I know that it is to have a single penny of fun money to spend at all. It was not always that way for me, and I know that it is not the reality of many, many people, and I never ever take that lightly or for granted. So at the end of July, my little perfume piggy bank, as I call it, had for the very first time in the entire year gone into the red. Up until then, I hadn't spent any what I call new money for the year on perfumes. All of my purchases for the year up to date were covered by declutters that I'd done for my fun money piggy bank. So in August, I brought in a total of 7 bottles of perfume, which is a lot. I was definitely on an impulsive kick this month. And I also brought in 18 samples that came with purchases that I made or were from perfume swaps with friends. I did declutter one very expensive bottle of perfume that I never wear, finally, and 8 samples, 5 decants, a mini, and a bunch of other random stuff. So I am absolutely covering my own eyes as I share that the total amount that I spent this month on purchases and postage came to a total of $399.96. YIKES, yikes. This is the most I have spent in one single month this entire year on perfume. I actually cannot remember the last time I spent this much money on perfume in a single month. It's definitely been well over a year, but I did bring in $317.97 this month. So that balanced things out just slightly. And that big sale that I made was the main reason that I justified picking up the Shalimar. So I am ending the month of August having spent a total of $136.47 of quote, new money on perfumes, since the start of 2025. So that's money out of my pocket since January that hasn't come from things that I have decluttered. Since January, I was really trying to keep to like a one in, one out kind of rule. That hasn't really been the case numbers wise, but I've done pretty well financially in sticking to my goals and keeping to a pretty good budget. So I've already planned out my September purchases. So hopefully, I won't be so impulsive again next month. No promises. My intention though here is to be just honest and real about being a perfume enthusiast on a budget. I really do try to keep to my budget every month, but as you can see, some months are just taking me in another direction. And I think for me, the important part is being mindful of my budget, being thoughtful about how I am managing this extremely expensive hobby that I have loved for many decades. And if that's helpful or interesting to anyone else, I feel like I've achieved my purpose in creating this series. I am not trying to tell anybody else how to spend their money. I make no judgments about how much money other people spend on the things that they enjoy. And this is just sharing what works for me. And so even though I went over my budget by a lot this month, I am super happy with all of my purchases, especially that beautiful bottle of Shalimar. And I'm going to enjoy every last drop of the perfumes I chose to join my collection. And that's a wrap for August, my friends. I hope you enjoyed taking a peek behind the curtain again this month. Thank you so much for watching, for spending your time here with me, and for chatting perfumes with me in the comments. Your comments are the very best part of having this channel. I hope that you have a really great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.